Hello, well, welcome to this video for Asia. So let's focus on some storm systems and rainfall events that will happen. First one there in South Korea, North Korea and Japan. So we currently have that system there passing through South Korea, a powerful low pressure, and it's going to affect Japan in the next few days there. We have a lot of heavy rain and some storms. So let's see the days down here. So this is Tuesday. This is European time. So there in Japan it's already like Wednesday morning. So let's see. Tuesday, Wednesday, that system progresses through the Sea of Japan, and then it arrives in Japan about Thursday, the early morning. So because let's see, so this is about very early in the morning, and then don't focus on this, that's European time. So let's see, this is crossing Japan by Thursday afternoon, midday. Lots of storms throughout Japan, some heavy rain and lots of storms, and the low pressure system there further north. And then we venture into Thursday night, still some storms there, and then by Friday shows more heavy rain for parts of southern Japan by next Friday there, Friday morning and afternoon. So and then this rain continues to Friday night, and then by Saturday morning it shows a new system there continuing to bring storms from areas of Japan. By Sunday morning still some storms there in Japan. Sunday night, Monday morning still some scattered storms or two. Next Tuesday still something, then it comes down a little bit, but it still shows some occasional storms in some areas like Tuesday night, next Wednesday, and let's see, next Thursday, and then we'll get more systems in China there later that might affect Japan later. So let's see the rain accumulation here. So the system's currently crossing South Korea there, so it's already getting a lot of heavy rain. Some areas in the next 24 hours, about 134 millimeters. In southern North Korea, around 90 millimeters in some areas. And then in the next 3 days, a little bit more in some areas of the Koreas. And then in Japan, we have some big accumulations in the south, around 121, 155 millimeters, 112, 116 millimeters. Tokyo around just 4 millimeters, but some areas with more, especially in the northern portion of the Mio Island, around, let's see, around 128 millimeters in some areas there, 94, 76 millimeters. A little bit in the North Island, and all of this can change. It's just model runs. Let's see, next 5 days it shows plenty more, so let's compare. Next 3 days, next 5 days it shows a lot more. Some areas in the south up to 288 millimeters, 247, 214, just in the next 5 days with 208. We go further north, 220 millimeters along the coast, 65, 77 millimeters, 150, 77, 147, 144 millimeters. Some areas with less, like 42 millimeters, and some areas with more there, around 177 millimeters. Tokyo, the next 5 days, around 27 millimeters. Let's see, some areas on 111, further north around 111 too. In the northern island about 60, 50 millimeters. And I know this is very far out, but in the next 10 days there'll be even more. But let's see this rainfall map here from the GFS. So we saw the European model. Let's see the GFS. We have the heavy rain there now in South Korea. Be careful. And then through Wednesday, and Thursday, like Wednesday night, Thursday, this system starts affecting Japan, and then and all through Thursday, a lot of heavy rain and storms in some areas. Let's see, Thursday night, Friday, still the storms in southern Japan by Friday, and then some scary storms in some areas by Saturday. Another system potential in South Korea by next Saturday. And let's see, next Sunday, some more storms in some areas, especially southern Japan. Next Monday, still some storms there, some areas. Let's see, Tuesday, some more in South Korea maybe. Next Tuesday, let's see, Wednesday, still some storms, Thursday, and then later we'll keep monitoring for more stuff. So let's see here, the rainfall accumulation from the GFS next 5 days. So the GFS has very little in the Northern Island, and in parts of the Northern South Island around 104 in some areas, 66, 70 millimeters in some areas, Tokyo around 28, and further south will be the worst hit area, around 204 millimeters, 204, 149, 227 millimeters in the southernmost island there. I'm talking about the big islands because there are a lot of small islands. And South Korea next 5 days, it shows some very high accumulation in some areas too. And let's see, so be aware in Japan there. So this is like a thunderstorm probability map. The storms there in Japan by Thursday and more areas. Let's see here now. Some temperatures. During the warmest part of the day can reach like 32 in Tokyo, in the 20s in other areas, 33 further south, and it might get cooler in some spots at night and because of these storm systems, but it warms up more during the day. So Sunday, Monday, let's see, yeah, generally this. Let's see, maybe some waves because they might be higher because of the storm systems coming in the Sea of Japan, in the other sea there, some bigger waves, and eventually they go north towards Russia and Alaska, the bigger waves. So let's see some wind gusts because this might bring some strong winds too. So now we have the system South Korea, it crosses there through Wednesday, then Thursday it arrives in Japan, some stronger gusts in some areas. Those purple blue areas are around 70 kilometers per hour. And then it crosses there, some gustier winds, and it goes away. And then later, with the other storms and everything, we might get a gusty wind or another sometimes in South Korea too, in other areas. So let's see China now. First, rain accumulation, so we have an idea, and then we'll see the weather map. So let's see. Okay, so yeah, still those areas of very high rainfall for parts of central and eastern China. Southeastern China is quite good, northern China as well, and western China too. Just some showers, maybe a snow or two in Tibet and some stuff, but it's mainly eastern China there. So look, keep looking at the millimeters above. So in parts of central China around more than 200 millimeters the next 5 days, some areas 50, 100 millimeters, especially the pink areas are more than 100 and 200 millimeters. For this other sea is here. Let's zoom further to this. Some areas around 189 millimeters, 249, 182, 200 millimeters, and on the east coast, especially around Nantong and those other areas, just north of Shanghai, more than 200 millimeters, Shanghai around 100, Hong Kong just 11 millimeters, Taiwan is doing fine, just some areas in yellow, about 35 millimeters. And let's see, in southern China, near Southeast Asia here, in the border with Vietnam and Laos, might get more than 100 millimeters in some areas from all these summer storms. In some areas of southern China, around 126 millimeters in some areas. Let's see, 100. This is northeastern India thing, but it's already close to China. Let's see, 57 millimeters. And further west, it's calm. So let's see the rainfall map possible. So let's see, Wednesday, this is Thursday morning, lots of storms there. Thursday night, let's see, Friday, lots of storms in the east there. Friday night, Saturday, some showers in other areas and snow. And let's see, in the mountains, yeah. So let's see some more storms there. Saturday night, still some storms. Sunday morning, still some storms in those general areas. A little bit in the south, some more storms too. Next Monday, we got all those storms there. Monday night into Tuesday, we get that new system forming there by Tuesday, and then it keeps spiraling there, soaring. About Wednesday afternoon, we got all those storms there going to northern China, and then that cold front through North and South Korea by next Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, and then yeah, maybe affecting southeastern Russia later. So talking about Russia here, it shows some storms occasionally in some areas, some rains, and the systems from China kind of affecting Mongolia with some storms in southern Russia. And then this by Friday shows lots of storms possible in parts of Russia. Let's see, Saturday, Sunday, some more rain in some areas. Sunday, more storms. Monday, more storms in some areas. Tuesday, Wednesday, still some storms in some areas. Next Thursday, and the rest is too far out. So rainfall accumulation for Russia. Next 5 days in Russia and Mongolia, more in northern Mongolia, and some areas there around. Let's see, I don't think there's any big seas there, but those pinkish areas around 73 millimeters in the orange, 40, 30, 29 millimeters. There's this big line of accumulation in Russia going all the way from the north here down south. This orange pinkish areas are like 80 and 90 millimeters, going all the way south into southeast into southern Russia here. So we might get more in these areas, southern Russia, 15 to 22. The orange areas are like 50, 40 millimeters. In southeastern Russia, we might get an area with a lot here, around 112 millimeters in some of these areas here. Next 3 days, next 5 days, next 24 hours, next 3 days, next 5 days. So, and then in the next 10 days for Russia, shows more in eastern Russia, more in the central, so 5 days, a little bit there, and take that 10 days even more in eastern Russia and some other areas. So let's see. The rainfall accumulation from the GFS next 5 days for China. The GFS has more rain in some specific spots, not like a continuous line of rain all the way to the east coast like the Euro had. It has like 124 millimeters in some areas, 179 and 158. Let's see, further east 148 millimeters along the coast, 91 it shows. Yeah, so just be aware of these heavy rains and storms in the areas of China. I wanted to speak Chinese, but unfortunately I don't. So I hope you understood, and let's see here what else for Southeast Asia now. So let's see. here, first rain accumulation. Next 3 days for Southeast Asia, you can see some hotspots in Laos, in Myanmar, and in India, and Nepal, and Bangladesh. Next 5 days, more Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, India, Central India, Vietnam, Northeast India, Bangladesh, and Northern Myanmar, and Southern Thailand. So let's zoom into these areas. First, Western India, around 200 millimeters in most of Western India in the next 5 days. 200, 194, 101, 76. And in these areas of Central India, the Euro showing more in some areas, like up to 300 in those light pink areas. 200, 100 around this is here. And let's see, around 200 millimeters in Nepal, 100 in northern India, a lot there in northeastern India, Nepal, more than 200. These light pink areas around 431 millimeters in southern Bhutan, more than 100 and 200 in all of southern Bhutan. And let's see, 100 there. Northern Bangladesh, around 110, 100 and something, 116 in northern Bangladesh, 162 in some areas. Let's see, further north here, northernmost Bangladesh, around 255, 230, 213 millimeters. And let's see here. And take a look at this spot in northeasternmost India. The Euro showing more than 600 millimeters in the next 5 days in those areas. Next 3 days 400, next 5 days almost 700 millimeters. This is so crazy. 600 millimeters, but they might be exaggerating a little bit with this. But let's see, 389 in other areas there in northeastern India. These borders are kind of weird. I don't know if this is China or India, but let's see, northern Myanmar, those very light pink areas might get more than 400. Let's see, 200 in these pinkish areas. And let's see, 133, 100 in this dark pink. Let's see, the light pink, almost 500 millimeters, parts of northernmost Myanmar. Further south in central Myanmar, it'll be a little bit better, but some areas still more. Around eastern Myanmar, these orange areas are around some 80, like 80 and 70 millimeters. Central Myanmar is doing good, 2.1, but western Myanmar around 70 and 80, even 90 millimeters. But what is worse is southern Myanmar, this small stretch of land here, about 228 millimeters, many areas. Let's see, 136, 180, 133, and 81 millimeters around Laos and northern Thailand. Some areas around 132 millimeters, 159, 171, 101 millimeters, northern Thailand. Around Laos, let's see, 151 millimeters, 128, 138, 200. So let's see, next 3 days we already got a lot, but in the next 5 days even more. So let's see, Cambodia, northern Cambodia, more than 100 millimeters. Southernmost Laos here, around more than 136 millimeters in some areas. In other areas of Cambodia, generally around 40, 60, 50 millimeters. In Vietnam, those pinkish areas are around some 80, 190 millimeters. 80. Further south, the southernmost area, more than 100 millimeters. Let's see, 40, 50 millimeters. Some areas here a little bit less, around 17, 22 millimeters. This stretch of northern Vietnam, very little, but northernmost Vietnam might get more than 140 millimeters, 126, depending on the area. 114 millimeters, 172. So be aware. And then northernmost Laos here is true. There's this pink area here. wait, around 131 millimeters in some areas. So let's see here. These areas of southern Cambodia here too, around, wait, 140, 149, 111, 159, 181 millimeters next 5 days. Southern Thailand, 169, 158 millimeters. So be aware. And Malaysia is generally fine. Just some tropical rains around 57, 60, 35 millimeters. Singapore, 58 millimeters. Let's see. Indonesia is generally fine. Southern Indonesia is fine, but northern Indonesia might get some more, around 80, 90 millimeters in some areas of Brunei and Borneo actually. And Brunei is generally fine, around 20, 30 millimeters. These areas of Malaysia are around 60, 70, and those orange areas around like 70, 80 millimeters. Just some other areas of Indonesia, like those pink areas might get 70, 80, and those very pink areas around 100 millimeters. Some areas here around 90 millimeters around those islands. Let's see, Western Guinea might get more than 197 millimeters in some foothills, and more 100 further north, 30, 40, 50 millimeters. And there's a lot of heavy tropical rain in the ocean here forecast, but there might be some small islands within this, like Puro, around 145 millimeters the next 5 days. This other island here, around 114 millimeters the next 5 days. This island of Indonesia or the Philippines, around 136 millimeters. And let's see, in Guam there, around 38, 33 millimeters, and the Mariana Islands are kind of good. Let's see, some islands of Micronesia, around 50 millimeters. Some other islands here, 62 millimeters, 92 millimeters, depending on where you're at. Some other islands more, like 80, 90 millimeters. Marshall Islands around some 80 millimeters, 41, 23 millimeters. And there's this area out here in the middle of nowhere. And let's see. Let's see all of this now. The GFS. So that was the Euro. So the GFS has the rain for Western India too, but around 100 millimeters, not 200 like the Euro. That spot in Central India also has more than 100 millimeters, and general storms in other areas of India too, except some areas of the south might be a little bit less. Northeastern India and Bhutan, the Euro had like 400 millimeters, the GFS is only 137 millimeters in southern Bhutan. Nepal, some areas more than 100, some areas less. Let's see, northern Myanmar, not nearly as much as the Euro, like very radical change. There was like 600 millimeters in northern India, the GFS like 100 and something, so very different. But in southern Myanmar here, it has a lot, more than 300 millimeters in these areas of southern Myanmar. It has the next 5 days, other areas there. Cambodia, southern Cambodia, more than 200. These areas of Laos and Vietnam, more than 100. And throughout Vietnam, it has like 48, 58, 7, 19 millimeters. And heavier in northern Vietnam, around 90 millimeters there. China, I already showed you. And interestingly enough, the GFS has this area in the southern Philippines, more than 458 millimeters in the southern Philippines there, the next 5 days. So next 3 days, it already has some there, but not much. And more in the rest of the Philippines, around 30 millimeters, 16, 28 millimeters. In the next 5 days, it increases to more than 100 millimeters, these areas of the southwestern Philippines, and 400 in that pink. Let's see, 87, some others 51, 40, 47 millimeters around those areas, 40 millimeters, 48, 62 millimeters in the next 5 days. So Taiwan there, around 26 in some areas. In Indonesia, some islands more than 100 in that pink. Western Guinea a little bit less than the euro, but still around 60 millimeters in some areas. Let's see the rest of Indonesia. The south is fine, but might get more rain in Borneo, Malaysia, and northern areas of that island. Let's see some more rain in Sumatra, especially in the north. Those areas there, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, some more. Let's see Port Blair, those islands, we might get some more too. Let's see here. Wait, let's see. So, sorry, here, so let's see. So, this is generally it. Let's see the icon now. It has a little bit similar, but not as much as the euro in Nepal, but depending on your location, it shows a lot there. More than 200 in some areas, throughout India too, Western India especially, Northern Myanmar, Northeastern India, the Southeast, and these areas in the South China Sea, like that island there, more than 243 millimeters the next 5 days. It shows. In the Philippines, not as much as the GFS, like very radical difference, but some are rain there too. And in all of Asia here, this is what it has. So let's put the euro again here. Kind of similar for that island there. A lot in the Philippines, it doesn't have as much as the GFS, but it has more in some areas. Let's see, those areas of Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, some showers and storms sometimes, around 11, 20, 30 millimeters. In Western Russia too, more storms there, like we discussed in the Europe video, but we will discuss it for the West. So let's see, these areas together with Kazakhstan might get more than 100 millimeters in some areas there, southern Russia, northern Kazakhstan, because of these storms. The rest of Kazakhstan is kind of fine. In the east, more showers, and the Middle East is mainly dry except for some areas, and Pakistan in the north too. Some rains in Yemen, but not much. This video is kind of longer, right? So let's just see some last things. This is snow for Tibet there, parts of the mountains of Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. A little bit in the Arctic, of course. And let's see some temperatures here. So in the hottest time of the day here, shows lots of forests in parts of Pakistan and Iran there. Some forests in the darker areas, and third is in the other areas. In Iraq and other areas there, Kuwait into the forests in Iraq and those areas, Kuwait around the 30s. Let's see, Saudi Arabia in the forests, and let's see here. And now it's the hottest time of the day. So let's see, it shows more than 47, 48 Celsius in Iraq, and I think there's other countries, Iran, yes, parts of Iran here, 47, and in Kuwait, more than 42 in some most areas. Saudi Arabia into the 40s, very hot. Yemen into the 30s and 40s, and Oman, United Emirates in the 30s in the north and 40s in the south. Pakistan, high into the 40s, 45, 41 in northwestern India, into the 30s in India. And let's see, in eastern China, around 36, 35 in many areas. Mongolia, northern China, 38, 31, 32. In this basin here, in the high into the 30s. Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, 40, 36, high into the 30s, and maybe 40s in those areas. And let's just progress through the days here, see if we can see any notable changes. So Friday, it still shows like scorching hot in the Middle East there, probably high into the 40s, very dangerous there. Saturday, still scorching the Middle East in Arabia and those areas. Saturday, yeah, this is Saturday, into the 30s in some areas, a little bit chillier in easternmost Asia. Let's see, Sunday, still scorching the Middle East, in India into the 30s, some other areas into the 30s. Monday, yeah, it would generally stay like this in the near future. So let's see. Wind accumulation next 5 days. Humidity. Let's see some wind gusts. So Wednesday and Thursdays, the system in Japan and there, of course, and then the Arabian Sea, sometimes in China, Afghanistan and some areas, some stronger winds, like Thursday and Friday. By Friday, some stronger winds in the west, depends on the area too. And let's see, sorry, what's happening here? And then after Saturday, I don't know why it's not available, but let's see here. Now it's loaded. So let's see, Saturday, Sunday, still very strong the Arabian Sea, parts of the west by Saturday and Sunday, and some more strong winds occasionally in China. The other system there by next Tuesday, Wednesday, northern China, strong winds, and then the west is too far out. So this video is very long already. There's a bunch of other stuff here, but tell me in the comments if you want to see any more of this stuff. But I think this is generally it. Here are all the warnings. There are always a bunch of warnings for rainfall in India, rainfall in other areas, storms in China, temperature, wildfire danger and thunderstorm in Kazakhstan and Russia, and more areas there. Some wind in the Solomon Islands. Yeah, so let's just see if there's one last cool thing, and then this is it. This is the drought map. Let's see here. Some waves maybe. Bigger waves in the Arabian Sea, of course, and with the systems in Japan. Let's see, Thursday, Friday, maybe some bigger waves in the South China Sea by Saturday. Let's see, the other areas are quite calm, but that there may be some occasional bigger waves. Arabian Sea is kind of busy, and this is mainly it, I think. So stay safe from the heavy rains and storms, and this is it, I think. Bye.